Welcome to Life Talks with Immaculate and Sarah.
Today we are talking about finances at home, in work.
And personal finances as well. So
Yeah.
this is a conversation we probably talk about so often, but it's in regards being financially reliable on yourself, but being financially self-reliant to ensure that you're not too dependent on somebody else for your well-being and for your personal security and independence as well, and self-esteem. Yeah. So to start, we felt that it would be best to discuss your relationship or our personal relationship with money, because we believe that the type of relationship you have on your own will affect the kind of relationship you have with money with somebody else. So, Immaculate, would you say that you're good with money? And if so, what does that actually look like, or what does that mean?
I wouldn't really say I'm very good with money, but I do try to be good with money because I fear to be broke. So I really try to make sure I save something for the rainy day and keep my track of what I spend. Even when I go to the shop, I calculate as I'm picking the items what the total is, because I don't want it to reach a certain level. And if I find that I'm doubting, I'll tell the people that I have only this amount of money. I don't want to go beyond that, because I don't want to spend more than I really intended to spend. Because sometimes when you go to the shop, they put everything that is attractive. You say, I might as well get this. I might as well, so I don't want that. So I pick things. I'm not good at writing a list, but I have a list, like if I've checked everything in the house.
It's like a mental list.
I have a mental list, and I know how much money I'm going to spend. But I'm an impulsive buyer as well. That's why I'm saying I'm not really very good with money. Because sometimes, especially if I see bargains, I say, I think this is cheap. I'm less on with my card on me if I see bargains.
Yeah.
So what I do, I take a specific card. I only use one card for shopping, like for the house. Especially, I don't take the card that has my salary in it. Because I will do damage.
Yeah. That's interesting. So, like, something you say that, like, you like bargains and stuff, and something I once had someone say that the items we buy on sale, they're not a sale, they're not a bargain, because you didn't plan to go buy that thing. So you're not saving anything. It's just a marketing tool to get us to spend more. So I guess for those impulse buyers, every time you see a sale, just remind yourself it's not a sale unless you planned to actually buy it. I personally, a lot of people feel or may say that I'm really good with money.
But you are.
No, I'm good at saving, because I'm like somehow, somewhere, I got scarred financially, where I feel that I'm not good with money because I don't know how to spend money. Like, I can save money because I always have this fear of lacking. So in order to avoid the fear or the stress, I save a lot more. But if you give me money and say, Sarah, just go shopping, I wouldn't know what to buy. Like, I don't know how to spend money.
Then give me to spend for you.
No.
Because I can't really spend.
Yeah, but I find myself being like in the shops, and I'll think of what you need, what my siblings or my husband or somebody else needs. And then I may be like, oh, I could buy that. That looks nice. Like, I'm that one dress. Like, I go to a shop, and no matter how expensive it is, I want something. That's the thing I want, because I don't spend all the time.
Because you have been like that since you are young. I remember when you are young, you used to tell me, Mommy, if you can't afford, don't buy cheap clothes.
I don't mind cheap clothes though.
No, but when you are young, you always used to say, Mommy, I think it was your way of telling me that dress doesn't look nice for me, or because it's cheap. You thought it's cheap.
Yeah.
You always used to tell me, Mommy, if you don't have money, I don't mind. Just buy me one dress once in a year, but expensive one.
But something nice. But I find something that has helped me. I served a Christian mission, and I could be wrong, but I think we used to have a budget of around like $130, maybe $50 a month, because our rent was paid. The people around us were paying for the food. like feeding us. So we didn't really need to pay bills or anything. So that would be for your upkeep. So I think learning to live on such a tight budget, and then also trying to like being of a like I always earned quite low, always encouraged me to spend my money wisely and to actually budget. So I would find that I would actually attend finance classes, like how like I don't know how you call them, but it's like a personal financial class that teaches you how to budget, calculate your spending against what you
Self-reliance.
self-reliance class that would teach you like how are you spending your money basically, like how is the money you're bringing into your home, how is it covering the expenses, and also how are you saving and for the rainy day. So I think that helped me learn how to budget as well.
Yeah, I like one thing. When you came back from your mission, you told me that one of the missionary couples told you that mostly when you spend money, you should know, like, what you spend is actually within your means.
Yeah.
You should not spend money you don't have. So that kind of helped me now. When I go to the shop, I shouldn't, because I was terrible as an impulsive buyer. So, but now I just say, do I really need that? I question myself because I don't want to spend more than I.
You want a cough?
And yeah, I do. I do need to go.
Okay.
So that really like kind of keeps me in tune.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Because if you keep spending, especially if you know that the money is there, you didn't budget that money
really
for
true.
that. And then you spend it, and then you start, like for me, I will be hurt. Like, I don't tell people, but if I spend money I shouldn't have, it hurts me for months.
So you're slightly tight with money.
Yeah.
I remember someone telling me the kind of person you are when you have very little money is the exact same type of person you are when you have a lot of money.
Yeah.
People like to think, I'll be different when I have a lot more, I'll budget better, or when I have less, I'll budget better. It's not always the case. That's why it's important when you're, especially if you're going to enter a relationship, to learn how to work with money on yourself. But I also think our upbringing affects our relationship with money.
Yeah.
So for example, I feel like my upbringing, there was a lot of care for so many people in our family, like my immediate siblings, my other cousins and relatives. So there was always a time where I feel like I would maybe go without, not the necessities, but maybe the things I would like. So I think for that reason, I always feel that it may be better for me to have something kept in case something turns up or comes up that I want, emergencies. And I think that also could be why, or for example, when I went to boarding school, they only gave you money to spend in case something happened, like an emergency. So other kids will be buying all these treats and I'll just skip mine for an emergency. Nothing would happen and I'll come home with it and hand it back.
I was the same when I was at school. Because really, I used to take a lot of grab. We used to call it grab, snacks. Yeah. So I would never buy anything. I would keep the money because I knew that they had given me this money, but they didn't have themselves. So I would keep the money they had given me as pocket money. And when I go back, I use it to buy presents for them. Or sometimes if I don't have anything to buy, I go and give back to my parents. So they say, you didn't use this money. I said, no, I didn't have. So that has, I think boarding school also helps you to teach
structure.
Yeah, about money, like, because you are there alone and you're afraid if something happened to me.
Although I think if I was a child and I had been taught by my environment not to fear the lack of money, I think I would be better with money, with spending at least.
Yeah, but like poverty, that's the problem of, I know like we might have not been really like proper poverty, but it wasn't like we had money saved somewhere to spend. We always knew that the money we got, like, it had to be for specific things, and we bought what we needed, not just the luxury. So that kind of brings the fear to spend money, because you know that I don't have enough.
They always say the reason most people, this is from a point of view of the rich, the reason most of the kids that come from wealthy homes are better risk takers is because they have the luxury of not fearing the lack of money. So they can invest, and if it disappears, there's a cushion to fall back on. Whereas a child who has grown up where the money has been tight, it's harder to be more risk. It's harder to be risk taking with money because there's this instilled fear of it disappearing. So in a way, like people who grow up where there's actually wealth or even just a comfortable conversations about money, it helps them be more risk takers when it comes to also investments.
Yeah.
Most of the time.
Because as well, like growing up in poverty, you don't really always buy what you like, even what you need.
Yeah.
It is just really barely minimal of what you need. And then when you grow up, you know the pain of being poor.
True.
So that kind of frightens you from risking to lose everything and go back to that state.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I prefer to see the account and the money is there.
It looks nice.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
because if I try to spend it all, then I fear that if it goes and something goes really wrong, like maybe I lose my job or something happens, and like death in the family and there's no money for burial, things like that. So that frightens me. So it is better like to have it there.
Yeah.
So that makes you not to invest.
Yeah. It's interesting. Like I don't never check my pay the day I get it. I don't check my pay the week I get it.
But you should, because
You
in
should,
case
yeah.
they didn't pay you well.
I understand.
Because
but
sometimes they cannot, sometimes they do make mistakes.
they do make mistakes, but
Yeah.
for me it's always a week later. Because if I'm getting paid and there's a whole week in the month, I don't want to get confused and think I have a lot of money for that month. I wait until the new month starts. Personally, I pay tithing, so 10% of my salary goes to tithing. So then the rest of it, I can look at it and budget that, okay, money for my mortgage, whatever, if I'm contributing for my mortgage, for the bills, for whatever, then I can calculate the remaining. I don't calculate the whole sum of, I don't look at it and be like, oh, this is a good month. No, I wait till all the bills have gone, all the tithing has been paid. Then that is what I look at as money.
That's a good
that
habit.
I actually have. Otherwise, I can't spend.
I know my money that I earn before it actually arrives. I'm worse. I know the money I'm going to receive before it actually reaches my account. That's even more frightening, because then I know in advance that this month, like, because I calculate, maybe the accountant in me comes
in handy.
Yeah, so I calculate that, okay, this month I work like this and this and this, so I should expect, and I know exact amount that will be there.
Yeah.
So then I know, like, maybe this month I won't really spend much, like, because I have got now into the habit of saving a certain amount of money.
Yeah.
And I cannot dare go beyond that. If I go, it is a headache. Like, I can even fall sick, wondering why did I even go there? Because that's why sometimes I don't want to. People say that, "Mommy, go out." Because
you don't spend.
I don't want, because when
I
I go out,
I thought I was really bad at spending. I'm not that bad.
I am.
I just don't know how to spend.
But the problem is when I reach the shop, I become too rich and I start.
The poor always forget that they're poor.
I start. This is good for so and so, that is good for the other one. Let me buy this for the kids. Let me do this for
I think when I say I don't know how to spend, I don't know how to spend on myself. I don't know how to be like, we are burning money today. We're, just treating myself. No, but, I will spend, and if I have to spend, I'm like, it's necessary. We are on earth to work, live life. So I'm just like, money is necessary to have.
There's no point saving all the money, and when you die, it is other people to enjoy it.
Exactly.
You understand?
Yeah,
you
have
to
happens.
Look good, eat well, sleep well. They say, work like a slave and sleep like a king or queen.
You're lucky if you don't have to work like a slave. So how have you been able to ensure that you're financially self-reliant?
I've always been independent. So I like to spend my own money. I fear to ask.
Well, I've never had anybody else's money to spend, so that's not a problem.
So, and I don't really, like, if it comes to borrowing money or what, that really puts me under stress.
The pride in me takes off.
I don't like to be in debt. That's another thing. So that helps me to save.
That's why I hate the strong word, but I do. Let's say partners or family members who are like, if you need money, ask me. How can you tell that I need money? You can't tell a broke person. I've been broke. You know when I'm broke. Don't wait for for me to ask? So
But
Sarah,
it's just
yes,
a polite, like
now it
politeness.
is polite to offer. You can see things are tight. I told you today, hey, I walked.
Mm.
Today, and I won't have, I'll have the tea instead of this amazing juice. You know when I'm broke. Like I
But you see,
understand.
the same way
but-
you're struggling to budget and like the same way the other person is.
Yeah, but people say, ask me, even when they know.
It is just polite to say like that.
If you're
But
out
you
there
would know
and
as
you
well.
see that I'm broke, just offer me the money. I'm too prideful
You see
to
people just
ask.
keep somebody aside just to offer
No,
because
like,
you are
even
broke.
like partners, like a husband, a wife, siblings. Mommy, if you see I'm broke, don't wait for me to ask you. You keep coming to my
How do
house.
I know? You are working. So how do I know whether you are broke?
Okay, I'm always broke anyway, so
Ah,
just
no,
always
that,
offer.
that is now like an advantage.
But you were telling me about being self-reliant. What things have you done in your life to ensure that you're self-reliant and independent?
I always have a side income.
Mhm.
I think you can
Mhm.
realize that.
Yeah.
Because I know that the salary is not enough. Like you can never have enough with your only your salary because some salaries are just hand to mouth.
Someone
You know?
said our bank accounts are just a passing. It's like transit.
Yeah, for the
It's
money.
formalities. The money comes, it passes the bank for formalities
3
and
days
goes
you are
out.
broke.
Yeah, so that is a good
Yeah,
point
because
to say.
the salary, like, unless you are lucky that you earn really well, the salary is not enough for all the requirements. Because if somebody made me to budget my salary now, it will
I
not
think I would
last 2
start
weeks.
crying.
Yeah, it will not last 2 weeks.
And talking about being self-reliant, I know you talked about side income. So I think it's a generational thing or just how we're brought up. For example, I was raised differently. And I've not had even the brain, to be honest, to think about side income. Some people are really good, but that's not something I've really ever sat and thought about. Somehow I got delusioned about you go to school, you got this amazing education, then you need a master's, you get that master's, you need a PhD, then you get a job, right? And I've now as an adult, I'm starting to realize that was really quite false teaching that I put myself into. But something I can teach people who are maybe in the same place as me where there's no side income is learning your bargaining power for salary as well.
Yeah, before you start
Now,
working.
I know that I'm underpaid and I know I have undervalued myself because of the work ethic I have and just the character that I am. Like I will go and I will work. Even the minimum that I do is not the minimum other people put in. So I think understanding what your actual bills are, your expenses, understanding what is being offered to you as a salary after tax. People say 35K, 50K, 60K. But what is that actually after tax?
After tax.
Google this, it will tell you what you'll be earning weekly or monthly. After tax is what you're always bargaining on. And across your expenses. I do understand the labor market offers what it does offer. And sometimes we need to go into jobs, but also knowing what is being offered out there. Most recruiters and employers will say, what is your expectation? And knowing how to bargain is something I was really bad at. And I would say it has lessened my financial self-reliance on myself as well, but it also made it harder for me to climb the ladder.
But you should always know your self-worth.
But you
Your
also need
qualities.
but you need to mark it against the labor market as well.
Because
Sadly,
like,
to an
when you
extent.
apply for a job, you are going to check
Yeah.
how much do they pay.
Yeah.
The range.
And how much in that industry is being paid for that specific
job.
job or type of work.
Because all employers, they are very happy if you undervalue yourself.
Yeah.
So they'll just offer you what you expect.
Very few employers will say,
They will not
by the way
bargain
this.
with
Yeah.
you because if you they budget for this post. So if you undervalue yourself, they are not going to bargain with you that you can offer this and very.
And I'm learning that the hard way. So like for someone who does know currently looking for side income, but for somebody who is not maybe wasn't raised with that. It's funny because you were always having side incomes.
Yeah, because
but somehow we did not get instilled in me.
I knew that the salary itself was never enough. Because like I had to pay people's school fees. I needed to have half the school fees before the kids came back home. So with the salary, I would never have that.
Something I'm also realizing as a woman is that the work industry, the labor market is not created, most of it, the majority is not created for women. Because if I am a female that decides in a childbearing age that I do want to have kids, most of the standard employees are actually looking for a 9 to 5 in the field that I'm in, right? So how does that actually come in when I have a child? For a female that may want to also keep, I don't necessarily want to earn, where you have no choice but to still have to hold a salary, because most people, average salaries today may not be able to enable one household income. They need two. So as a female, I think if I had to change something about how I actually, my education system, I would have actually made, because I didn't know what I wanted to do, I would have researched, in hindsight. So I advise those who don't know, I'm in that situation, research what jobs will be created, what jobs are around. Align, my sister said this to me, align your values with your success and your goals. So if your goals are, if your values are family, it's necessary to also align your job or your prospective job with it, and find out what kind of jobs will be created in the labor market in 4 years' time, what will be necessary. And also ensuring, as a female, I think it's important to have these like skills that you can actually create an income outside a standard 9 to 5
hands-on skills.
Hands-on skills. It's not a thing of the old or the
no.
past.
You have
and I'm
to
learning
have
that the hard way.
You have to have something that you use your other skills, natural skills. Like if you are good at talking, you might be like a life coach. If you are good at knitting,
something
you might
you can
be
set
knitting.
your own hours and
like
if
you are good at business, you might start a small business. Because even if it's good, like if you lose your job suddenly,
something to fall back on, or to already have
you have already in place. Because you cannot say, I'm going to start a business and quit your job. You have to save money at least 6 months minimum. Because a business is not going to take off immediately.
And there's a security in being employed, your pension. And those are also things in your bargaining power. Are they offering pension? Are they offering health insurance? Is it just for yourself? Is it for your family? But those are things a full-time employment does offer as well. And having to calculate and having the conversation with your family about when to quit the job, when to go, be self-reliant as an employee.
And also, like, sometimes people just say, oh, my job, I will do this, I will do that. Especially now we have learned, like, the pandemic came. Most people lost their jobs. And this was like, nobody was prepared for this. So imagine if you are totally reliant on that job, and the way the lockdown came, it just came zip.
And talking about being
people just stayed at home.
And also talking about being reliant on your job, it's also being reliant on the other partner. And obviously how just biology, women are going to have kids, women are going to be home, and there are men who are, will prefer or will take up the role of being a stay-home parent, but traditionally most women would stay home. But if you're solely reliant on the other partner, the breadwinner, and COVID hits and maybe the job structure changes and he loses his job, these are two parents at home without an income coming in.
And that's dangerous.
The shock alone can ruin a whole family, to be honest. And it's not even just losing a job, sudden death, sudden illness. And I think for me, those are things I think about when it comes to my future family, that what if something does happen? How self-reliant am I to be able to take care of my family, to be able to pitch in with my husband, to be able to, maybe relieve some stress from him as well.
Yeah, because men do get stressed. And that's why women always say, men are always quite quarreling. Men are always, but you're also asking every morning. You're asking all the time. The child needs to go to school. The child needs to, like, clothes. The child needs to go to hospital. And it is only one person earning. It is only natural for somebody to be irritated. Even if it is you. Like, let's say it's me only earning, and I have to cater for everything at home. And then my husband keeps saying, oh, by the way, remember to pay the bills. Remember to, I will be annoyed.
Okay, so on that point, right?
Yeah.
I agree and I disagree with you, and you have more life experiences from me. But adding to your point from what you told me, that is the importance of having transparent finances in a home. Because and different homes and different how you are with money personally will affect your transparency in your family. If a home, in my opinion, I think, to avoid the situation from what you have told me, if a home is transparent with finances, let's say there's one breadwinner, he's a person who goes out. If you know the salary coming into the home, you will be able to know how to calculate those finances.
Yeah.
And preferably you'll do it together. So it avoids that every morning, oh, don't forget bread, we don't have this, we don't have this.
Yeah,
becomes
because
about
you only
finances.
talk. Usually, like,
You also know if he loses his job or the salary gets cut because you're seeing the salary coming.
Coming,
But if
and-
that's not communicated, you just presume you're
Yeah.
balling and doing well with money.
yeah.
Yet the poor man.
But like, especially for us African women, who are like taught, maybe we're a little bit late, because we are taught that the man is the head of the family. The man is the head of.
In white communities as well.
Yeah.
Somebody has like people
Like
have
if the
savings.
income comes from the man and all this. But now the world has moved on. If the two of you are working,
If the both of you got educated, you're in the same college, the same
yeah,
university.
so you're earning the same money. So how do you expect your husband to have more money than you?
Yeah.
You did the same course sometimes, even related the same courses.
I have a funny story with that.
So how do you expect your husband to have more money than you and the salary range is the same?
So I did
Don't
a
expect
finance
too
class.
much.
And in this finance class, talking about that, expecting too much, in this finance class, we were doing expenses. So this one week we were asked to go do our expenses of the week against our spend and come and like talk about it in the class, what we could have improved. So I came to the class and they were like, so Sarah, like, where are your expenses? And I had none. And they were like, how can you have no expenses? And so I broke it down to the gentleman and I was like, so my work pays for my breakfast, lunch, and dinner, right? And that was Monday to Friday, and in the evenings, really at this 1 week, that evening, if I made up at the time, it wasn't a husband, it was a boyfriend, he probably paid for dinner. And then I would do things in the weekend and he would pay for dinner. You were paying groceries at home,
Yeah.
and I wasn't paying rent.
Yeah.
And maybe that's something as a parent you have changed now. Like,
Yeah.
you know, like, okay, people can chip in. But in the past, we didn't at all.
But I knew you didn't have enough money. Like, even if you
But
had,
let
it
me
was
finish.
just for your transport.
Exactly.
And all that.
But then the guy who was chairing this finance class was saying, so how good are you at saving? I was like, oh, I'm so good. And my boyfriend is rubbish at saving. And it's like, because he's spending the whole time.
Yeah.
And that is what I'm talking
And
about.
he's spending on you.
And
you're
he was
both-
investing in this relationship. But you're both investing because you
Yeah.
both want the relationship to succeed.
So what?
So it
You
taught
should
me.
chip in.
It taught me, and when I went home, I was like, friend, like, I need to start, you know, we had a conversation, and even without, I said paying a few more things here, and it actually improved his saving capacity.
Yeah.
And then when our relationship graduated to saving for a home and working together with money, that class and the one conversation, it helped me learn to share my money and to understand how the transparency in money. So it starts with dating as well. We don't always have to, in my opinion, for the guy to always pay. As a female, it gives you bargaining power as well.
Self-esteem.
Self-esteem. I know in my
Independence.
house, if we need to buy a couch, we are both having a say because there's a difference. Different couples are different. For us, there's a bit better financial transparency. It all comes into one pot. And there's no 50-50, I pay this, you pay that. It comes in there, whatever needs to be direct debited gets taken out, and then we pay each other out the same amount. So let's say we all agree on 100 euros, let's say a month. We each get 100 euros. Nobody goes back into that pot is for the family. So then if I want to go and buy an expensive handbag of 60 euros, it is out of my 100 euros.
Yeah.
And that way he has no say, he doesn't ask me about bags, I don't have to hide my bags, nothing. He doesn't ask me about my
But
personal
for us, we
accounts.
used to keep, like I used to do shopping because my husband is very good with us. So I used to do shopping and hide the bags
I said, I
and
can't do
hide
that.
the
That's
shoes
too
and
stressful.
the jewelry. Like when he's not there, that's when I sneak in and put.
The person knows what you have and don't have.
No, I will not because it will take long. So I said, hey, when did you buy that? I said, you didn't see this. I bought it long ago.
You don't look at me.
Yeah,
You didn't even notice
So
my necklace.
but I had been hiding it, so you didn't see actually. So that's not good though.
Yeah, but
Because
I don't
if
know.
you're ashamed of showing what you bought, it means you did something wrong. You understand? Even if it is your
But
money.
some people make you feel like that. The other partner can.
But like some people, like money is always difficult
Yeah.
in all relationships.
For me,
It
if
is-
it's not coming out of our joint, you can spend your money all you want, But my friend, when we go on a date, please have calculated when you're paying for that date or when I'm paying. So I don't but to be honest, for my character, because I'm quite tight with money with fear of things going wrong, I prefer, the pot does what it does, but your personal money, I don't want to ask about it. Don't tell me about it.
But you see, because you
For
sat
me,
down
helps.
and you agreed that this is how we are going to handle our finances. Some people enter into a marriage, they never sit down and discuss.
And the finance class helped me because they told me from that class that when you get married, sit down. Let me tell you, it takes days to have those conversations to agree. People cry, people fight, it happens.
I remember when I got married, then, like the first month, we didn't sit down. Okay, we sat down, like, this is what I like, this is what, but we didn't discuss finances.
Later.
So, the first month, my husband went to work, got his pay, he brought the pay slip, and he gave me the card.
Hey! No, I do that to me.
I didn't spend them, but I was surprised. I said,
he was testing you.
No, he was genuinely thinking that we are now married. We have to spend
but
the money
traditionally, men used to do that. They would work and come and give
So
the
when they
paycheck
came to me to hand over my pay,
he expected you also to hand over.
Because now we are supposed.
He didn't know you're from Uganda.
No. So I said, listen, I have too many problems. I cannot give you my card and I cannot give you my. It was shock. I said, but I gave you mine. I said, but did you see?
Ask?
No, I didn't spend. Did you see I spent?
You didn't spend.
I didn't.
Because
I knew that
when your turn comes,
I will not.
You told me last time, why do people trust people with their hearts and life but not their money?
So
money is sacred, guys. Shouldn't be, but
then later we kind of afterwards I just said it's just genuine, like it needs, like we are living together. How comes I can spend my money by myself and spend his?
Because this is different.
Yeah, because I was thinking I have too many problems back home. I have to be sending this, I have to be doing like this. So, but if we put this money together, to be asking again from him, it would be a problem.
It is true though. Like, while this is working for me right now,
because you have no responsibility apart from you and your husband.
And I think that's why I may save more from my little pot, like my own personal money, because I do calculate that into account. And it is, especially when you're married into people in different cultures, races, people from different tribes. It's hard to be like, my people may need me to chip in. And that is actually a conversation we should have. How do you work when you have father responsibilities, the other? Like, we'll talk about that at a different time.
It's the cause of marriage breakdowns. Like, because the women tend to hold on to their own money and they expect to spend the man's money. And then when the man complains,
you say,
my husband is stingy. He doesn't want to spend on me.
Yeah, but the wives were stingy, especially when the wife has been home and then the man works and the man is not as nice financially. And then tables turn and then the wife goes to work and then you say, my friend, remember how you used to treat me? So sometimes it's both. You get bitter.
You shouldn't keep a record of the past.
But you people love and money sometimes.
I know it's hard, but you shouldn't. Like, I prefer, like, personally, I wouldn't hold a grudge. Because me, generally, anyway, I like to spend on people. So I don't, even though I keep my money to myself, like, so that I'm free to spend it anytime. Because I don't like to be asking, can we have this now? Can we have that? Really kind of bothers me. But it is not good, like, if you are living together, if you really want to have a happy life. I know it is hard for most people. It is better to put the money on the table at the first week.
Like, have a level of transparency.
Transparency in money.
It's also helpful in case somebody leaves you with debt. They pass away and you don't know how the finances were. Or
you don't know the debt you was getting.
Bills,
so if you can monitor that, you can even also like stop him, like, because like as life goes on, some people maybe like start drinking, some people start like gambling, some people start women or men or whatever. Like, if you are in tune with the money, what that is coming to the house, you are able to control that situation quickly. Because you know that this money was supposed to be this and this, but now it is not. Or this bill was supposed to have been paid and it wasn't.
Makes sense. So anyway, to conclude, So what are your top 2 takeaways that you would advise people out there, both female and male?
Talk openly about money.
Yeah.
Be transparent. Sharing is caring. So if you are going to live together, you love each other. So what is stopping you from sharing your money? And that helps in planning. Like if you all know that in this house, like let's say 20,000 comes. So you know that we are going to spend this amount and we save this amount. But if you don't know, you can't save. And you can't plan.
You can't presume the other person is saving for us.
No, you should work, like marriage is a partnership. You should work together and plan things together. That brings happiness other than striving and quarreling and all that. That you are extravagant, you are what? Like, if the man knows that you are contributing, I'm sure he will not be stingy. You understand?
Or if the woman knows you're contributing.
Like, and if you are spending together, like knowing each other's needs and what, love is like you want to spend, buy a present for each other, kind of. Same things like that. The same thing like when it comes like, okay, are we going to buy now like our second property, or are we going to start a business, maybe something like that, or are we going to do this and this? So you are talking together. That actually bonds you.
True.
And brings you together. Other than everybody being secretive with their money, because the secrecy then brings problems. Because I don't know what my husband earns, so I assume that he earns a lot. You understand? Why is he hiding it? It must be a lot. So then I start demanding too much.
But sometimes it's a lot, and men have like not men necessarily. The person with more tends to. Even I would.
No, but
so having that transparency helps
the
me
transparency
that.
helps,
Yeah.
And accountability.
Accountability. Yeah, and it helps you keep in check. I think my top takeaways, I don't know. I obviously haven't been married for long, so I don't know. But as a woman, it's extremely important for me to have my own money. So I would encourage a lot of people, also from a point of view that I want to like remove some of the stress and insecurities on my husband as well, but also for myself mostly. Just I feel like if something goes wrong, I don't want the shock will always be there. I just want to be able, and Irish lady told me always have runaway money. Love her, because it's important. I'm not saying like get money and then chop and go out of the door, but in case anything happens, that I can uphold our family, him, our kids, myself. So I think having certain level of income to actually earn for yourself, something I'm trying to work on as a woman, and for the future that I want to build, is not relying solely on my salary, my income. So that is something I'm working on, because one day if I do have a family, and I have to be home. I know, okay, I'll be home for maternity. I don't know what type of child I'll have. I could have a disabled child that I can't actually return to work. There's so many reasons that could keep me home. Well, right now I'm being like, I'll maternity leave and I'm out of here. I just want to make sure that there's an income that's coming
even
in also
yourself,
for
there
myself.
could be after, like side effects of giving birth. Some people get depressed. You'll be under depression.
But I think for my character, it helps me have better self-esteem when I can rely, when I know I have my own. And I think even if you choose to have, like transparency in your finances, I think it's important to have your own, something separate.
Yeah, you have to, like something the way you say, normally the good finances say that pay yourself first.
Yeah, pay
yourself. Learn to pay yourself first when you get your money.
Yeah, and I don't want to explain
that
to my husband
pay yourself means put the money aside for yourself.
Yeah.
It could be emergencies, it could be your own personal, so like shopping and all that. Like let's say if you earn like 3,000, as soon as you get the money, you just put aside. Maybe depends on your expenses, because you would have gained at this time, like because when you are starting, you have to record the expenses, like maybe for 3 months.
You know something I hate about something I really hate about money transparency, and I'm in that situation. I hate being taken on a date and then paying out of joint account. That is not a date. It's like me paying for myself.
But that's the money from the two of you.
You may as well stay home and go to like the shops. For me, a date, it comes out of your own money. And then I take us on a date and it comes out of my own money. Maybe I'm still too petty. I'm still like not with it. But I don't feel like it's a date
because now
in a
when you're used
marriage.
to that, the joint account pays off the bills
and
other
stuff. So for
things. It's
me,
not for dating.
no, it's
So-
not the same.
yeah.
So what, you want my birthday money to come out of joint account?
No.
No, that's the same thing as a date then.
Mm.
I think I feel like you're treating me, and like I love dating, so I still want to be dated in marriage. So if people, if you have joint account, please use your own separate money to take that person out and to buy them a gift.
Yeah.
Anyway, let me not expose all my problems. But thank you so much for watching Live Talks with Immaculate and Sarah, and for all the time you spend with us. Do share your insights. If we have maybe said something you disagree with, let us know. If something we could improve in our lives, or any suggestions with side income, or anything that's worked for you in your relationship or as a single person, let us know. We'll be happy to hear your insights.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Bye. Welcome to us all.